Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So on day 22 of AWS series, today we are going to discuss another storage service called EFS. It's a full form is Elastic File System. As we already discussed in previous video, if you are getting Elastic word from like in any of the service of AWS, it means it can automatically scale up and scale down. Okay, so let's understand what is EFS and how we can configure it and what's the purpose of this particular storage service. So what is Amazon EFS? So Amazon EFS stands for Elastic File System. It is a cloud-based storage service from AWS that act like a shared hard drive that multiple computers can use at the same time. Suppose you have a requirement like multiple EC2 instances want to access a same file. So what you can do, you can create a EFS and you can mount this EFS to all of the computers so all of your application can access a same file. You can basically think of it like it's a network drive that basically can grow automatically and is always available wherever your application needs to read or write files. EFS supports Linux only, no native Windows supports, so that you have to keep in mind. Amazon EFS is designed to be used within your AWS virtual private cloud. So if you want to create EFS, you should have a virtual private cloud. You cannot access EFS outside from the virtual private cloud. So you like, for example, if you like, you cannot use this service as a file server or a network shared folder because that you cannot access from your local system. That should be accessible from or inside the virtual private cloud only. You can't directly mount EFS from your home PC, office laptop or any system outside AWS over the internet. So this you have to keep in mind, like you cannot use this service as a network shared folder kind of thing. This is generally used by EC2 instances when multiple instances need to access a same file. So we can mount this particular EFS file system in all of the EC2 system wherever we need it. Now there is a concept of throughput modes. So when you create a EFS file system, there is an option called throughput modes. So we will see in a demonstration as well. Let's understand what the use of this mode. So basically throughput means generally like the data, how much data can read and write in per minute or per second basically. So throughput in Amazon EFS is the rate at which data can be read from or written to your file system, measured in megabyte per second. So per second, how much data can we read and write from your file system? So this particular feature help us to basically set up the throughput mode. So there are three modes available as part of EFS. So the very first mode is bursting throughput mode, which is default. So throughput scales automatically with the amount of data stored. So you don't need to think about storage capacity. You just need to start storing your data. And based on your data basically and how frequently or how fast you want to access, that you can accumulate over the time as well. It is ideal for intermediate workload that don't always need a high performance. So if your application need high performance, like high speed of input or output operation on file system, then you should not use this bursting throughput mode. For that we have another mode called elastic throughput mode. So let's understand second one, provisioned throughput mode. So here you manually specify the throughput in megabyte per second no matter how much data is stored. It is perfect for apps that need consistent high performance even with small files. So like here you will get an option, okay, you can specify, okay, I need a 5 megabyte per second or 10 megabyte, 100 megabyte per second. So if you are using or if you are creating EFS with provision throughput mode, then you can specify the megabyte like 100, 200, 300, 10, 20, like that. You can specify, okay, I need 10 megabyte per second input output operation for my file system. So that you can specify with the help of provision throughput mode. Another, we have elastic throughput mode. So this mode for workload which is unpredictable, like you are not sure like how fast you want input and output from the file system. In that case, you can use elastic throughput mode. So with elastic throughput mode, performance automatically scale with your workload activity. So as soon as you start using your file system, accordingly it will automatically increase the performance for your EFS file system, and you only pay for the throughput you use, like data transferred for your file system per month. So for that you have to pay as well. Okay, so another feature we will get when we create a EFS file system, which is called a lifecycle management. So EFS lifecycle management helps you to save money by automatically moving unused or cold files to a cheaper storage classes. So like suppose you have created a EFS file system in standard storage class. Now you are not using that particular like the particular file for a while. Then what it does, it will automatically move that file from standard to infrequent access tier. So it will basically save a cost. So that's the whole purpose of lifecycle management in EFS file system. Now we will see a use cases for Amazon EFS. So EFS is perfect for web hosting. Store websites file that multiple servers can access. The very first thing, big data analytics, process huge data set shared across multiple systems. Media workflow, like share videos, images and document across teams. Backup and restore. So these are the use cases where you can use EFS file system. So I'll come to this command part little later. Let me go to AWS console and we will set up EFS file system. So let me log into my AWS console first. So in through all my AWS series, I'm going to use a root user account, but it is not recommended. Like you always should create a IAM user, and from that you have to log in and do all your activities. This is just a demonstration. That's why I'm using a root user account here. Okay, now let me check MFA code. Okay, so I'm in my EC2 AWS console. So the very first thing, we need a virtual private cloud because we can create EFS under VPC only. So we already have, I think, virtual private cloud. So we will use a same VPC. And if you want to know how to create a VPC, I have already discussed in my previous videos. So you can go and watch there. Let me quickly check. Okay, so we have a custom VPC, my VPC, this one we are going to use. Now let me go to EC2 instance. So what I will do, I will launch an EC2 instance on this particular file system, sorry, in particular virtual private cloud. Then we will mount our EFS file system on the EC2 instance. So let me go to my EC2. And I will click on launch instance. So let me give a name, test EC2. I will choose AMI U12, which is fine. And you cannot create EFS on Windows based system, so that you have to keep in mind. There are alternate ways to set up. We will see in another videos basically. So let me select my key pair. So let me create a new key pair. my key pair. And in networking settings, we have to change our VPC, which is my VPC, and we only have one subnet, so that's why it is automatically taking a public subnet. And auto assign public IP address, we will enable it because we will connect to EC2 instance from our local system. Okay, so rest all the fields I will leave it default, and here let me give a security group name. So test SGW. Let me launch the instance. Next thing what we have to do, we have to create a EFS file system. So let me go to EFS. And let me create a create file system. So here you can see we have two options to create EFS file system. This is very quick, like the default setting or recommended setting. You can select. You can just simply give a name like test EFS, and here you have to choose a virtual private cloud. In my case, which is my VPC, and you can simply create a file system from here without customizing these values. If you want to customize these settings, then you can go to the customize option. So here basically you can customize all these settings. So here you can see a file system type. We have two, regional and one zone. So in regional you will get multiple availability zone, but if you are going with one zone, then you will have single availability zone. So that you have to keep in mind while creating a EFS file system. Another feature, we have automatic backups. So if you want automatic backups of your file system, you can enable this option. Then we have a lifecycle management. So transaction into infrequent access. So you can see since 30 days since last access. For example, if I have not accessed any of my file from 30 days in last 30 days, then automatically that file will be moved to infrequent access tier. So the cost, so we will basically save the cost. Simply transaction into archive, and then we have a transaction into standard. So these are the options we will get as part of lifecycle management. Now we have a performance setting. So we have a throughput modes, enhanced and bursting. So in enhanced we have two options, elastic and provision. In elastic we have a recommended way, so we will go with this one only. And if I select bursting mode, so throughput mode must be elastic here. So this basically you cannot use if we have to go with none, because this particular mode doesn't support. So let me change the enhanced mode, and we will go with elastic one. If you want, you can go with provisioned one as well. So here you can specify a throughput like 10 MB, 100 MB, like that, like whatever you want. So you can specify that one. So I am going with elastic one because it will automatically increase the performance of our file system as soon as we start using the files EFS. Now let me click on create. So okay, let me minimize this. Okay, sorry, next. Now here we have to choose a virtual private cloud. So I will go with my VPC, and here you have to select a subnet. We have only one subnet, so it is already taken. And in security group, we will select our security group which we have created. So I will use my test SGW. Why we are using security group? Because we have to enable a NFS port as well. So these are the policies which is optional. So if you want prevent root access by default, you can select. If you want enforce read only access by default, so you can select. So these are the policies option you will get. So I am going with default one because this is optional. Now let me hit and create file system. So this will take a couple of minutes to create. Okay, it's completed. Now what we have to do, we have to connect from our EC2 system. So let me go to my EC2 and let me launch the EC2 instance. And I will open the command prompt. Okay, so let me select this and let me click on connect, and I will copy the command. So let me put yes. Okay, so we are connected to our EC2 instance. Now we have to mount our file system. Okay, let me see. Font, I will keep font 20 so it will be more visible. Okay, so we are on our EC2 instance. Now we need to mount our file system on this EC2 instance. So if I'll go back to my presentation, so there are a few commands which I have mentioned. So we need to install a NFS client packages on this EC2 instance, then only we can connect. But first what we will do, we will try to connect without NFS client package, and then we will see what's the error we are facing. So first we need to create a mount point. So let me just copy the command, and we will create a directory where we will mount our EFS file system. So let me go to here and EFS. So if I'll do ls, so this is the mount point. Okay. So now next I'll go back to my EFS. So let me open it, and here I will click on attach. So there are two options. You can mount via DNS name or you can mount via IP address. It's all up to you how you want to mount it. So let me copy this, and sorry. So now let me run this command. So here we have to change the directory. We are on /home/oracle and /EFS. Let me run this. Okay, mount bad. So let me close this. So sudo mount. Okay, let me remove the space from here. So you can see we are getting it failed basically. Mount point does not exist. So there are two things we have to do first. First we have to, let me close this. First we have to enable the 2049 port on our NFS port on our security group. So let me go to my security group, and we have created a security group with the name of test, I think so. Okay, this is the security group. So I will edit this and add a rule, and here I will give a port 2049, and source I will use anywhere, that's fine. This is just a demo. If you want, you can select the subnet as well. So okay, so you can see already type is NFS. Now let me rerun the command. Okay, again it's failed. Now what we will do, we will install this package. Let me first update the package. Sudo apt. Okay, I think we are inside. Let me check a current working directory. Okay, sudo apt update. Okay, sorry, let me remove the hyphen here. Once this all the packages will be updated, then we will run this command. So basically we are installing the NFS client packages. Okay, now let me run this command. Okay, so it's completed. Let me clear the screen. So let's first check if do we have a specific a mount point which we have created EFS. So if I run this command, so we are not getting any output. It means there is no mount point for as of now. So what we will do, let me rerun the command. Okay, so it is showing mount point home Oracle EFS does not exist. Let me, okay. Okay, so there is a spelling mistake in Oracle. So let me correct it. ORACLE, and now let me run this. Okay, let me check a current working directory which is /home. Okay, it's not Oracle, it's Ubuntu. So let me correct it. Okay, now let me run it. Mount NFS does not exist. If I do ls here, we have a EFS directory, that is fine. So let me quickly okay, let me copy the command in notepad. Maybe some text I might be missing. So let me open the notepad first. Okay, now let me run it. Okay, so I think this time it's successful. There are some issues with in typo. So if you can see here, 196/home. Okay, actually it was correct. I'm not sure why it's not taken. Okay, this time it's taken. Let me quickly verify. So for this we have a command called df-h grep. Okay, let me go back here. Okay, so now we can see we have a mount point here, which is this is the IP address of our EFS file system, and you can see the percentage. And if you want to see all of the mount point on this, like what all the directories are mounted, you can simply check df-h. So you will get file system, size, used, available, use percentage, and mounted on. So in our case, this is the mount directory for our EFS file system. So you have to keep in mind, you have to open a NFS port on security group, and you have to install the NFS client packages as well. So I hope it's clear. In case if you have any doubt, ping me over comments. That's all for today. See you in next video. Thank you so much.